Since it was mentioned that devils could remember the sound and fear of the chainsaw, despite apparently losing their memories entirely once they have been killed, I had to wonder if there was a way to recover those memories from between different incarnations. And since Denji now has the goal to essentially do just that, I decided I'd make a video on it discussing the topic and highlighting some other points of interest with this topic as well as its possible implications. But before I get into the video, I'd like to ask for you to head down below the video and hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell so you can keep up to date when I post a new video. I am attempting to reach 500 subscribers before the end of the year, and I'd love to have you along for the ride. But without any further delay, let's start on this video topic. First off, let's start from the beginning. We are told in no uncertain terms that when a devil is killed on earth, they are reborn in hell, and the opposite occurs when they die in hell. We are also told that when these devils are reborn, they are no longer the same being they were before, having the same foundations but none of the memories, personality, or perhaps even appearance that they once demonstrated. And yet, we know that some things are capable of lingering even after a devil has perished and been reborn, namely the fear of the chainsaw, as it is told to us that it is among the last things devils hear when they die in hell. So somehow, some way, despite functionally being different people, they still remember this one thing? Why is that? Well, that's what this video is here to discuss, isn't it? First off, before anyone starts commenting about how that isn't the only time a devil has remembered something that shouldn't be possible, namely when Makima remembers the fight between Chainsaw Man and the devils who he erased from existence, that isn't the same as remembering something after being reborn in the case of devils. Rather, I think that is something more specific to Makima and perhaps other high-tier devils. So how is this achieved? Why is it this one specific thing that remains constant in their minds? The answer I have come to is one which ties devils to humans and is the source of their entire existence, that being fear. I wasn't quite honest when I said that devils only remember Chainsaw, because devils, and by extension fiends, also seem to remember the Darkness Devil, or at least the fear of one of the primal devils. Which only serves to further cement the idea that devils remember things which make them afraid, truly afraid, down to their very core. That's why they remember the primal fears and can immediately recognize their presence. It's why so many devils have the memory of Chainsaw but no real context for it. They are afraid of Chainsaw, because Chainsaw is a powerful, yet seemingly mad devil which seeks out and kills devils. Even when he dies, he returns to chase them again, or at least that seems to be how devils perceive it. In my option, when a human fear, it creates or empowers a devil. When a devil fears, truly fears, it becomes a part of them, a portion of their very essence which they can never leave behind. It is to them what a natural fear is to humanity. But if this truly does turn out to be the case, how is it that Denji should recover Power's memories, or as she puts it, turn the Blood Devil back into his body? Well, I have some thoughts on how else it might be possible for such an event to occur, one which is specific to Power herself and her relationship with Denji, and another which is more generic, accounting for all devils. The first one, the one involving Power regaining her memories, relies on the specifics of her pact with Denji, and even more specifically what she gave him in exchange for the pact. Namely her blood. Now in the case of most devils, blood is a source of healing, maybe minor power boosts, but in the case of the Blood Devil, I think we can all agree that there is certainly more to it than that when it comes to the Blood Devil. We have seen that blood can serve as a source of strength for such a devil, but more importantly the Blood Devil has a seemingly unique ability to store its entire consciousness and being within a few drops of blood, which can even be diluted into the bloodstream of another being, seen with how, given the right circumstance, Power was able to revive fully from the small amount of her blood which still remained in Denji's body after who knows how long. If we consider that, then it should be possible for the memories of the previous incarnation of the Blood Devil to be inserted into the current incarnation of the Blood Devil by having them consume the blood which has been left with Denji, or perhaps if Denji was to use a blood chainsaw like he did with Makima, the blood could get into the body of the new Blood Devil and potentially cause some memories to be transferred across. The second more generic idea is that through the contract a devil might make with a human, they could regain their lost memories. For instance, if a devil made a pact with a human to regain their previous memories, would such a thing be possible? We have already seen devils do some pretty absurd thing, even things which have no relation to what their actual fear is. For instance, teleportation is a pretty common ability amongst devils but seems to only be invoked when the individual who has a contract with the devil summons them. What is there to say that you can't have a devil regain its memories because of something in their agreement? Although I would consider this to be a cop-out if it was used to resolve the conflict between Denji and the new Blood Devil. For instance, the Blood Devil immediately turns back into power because of the contract power made with Denji prior to her death. But I have the utmost faith in Fujimoto to give us something that will both be tragic, and fulfilling in a way that will leave us all either in shock, tears, or maybe all three. And I suppose I should mention a third thing to do with memories and devils, which is kind of related but also different, is with regards to fiends and them regaining memories of their lives as a human. We know from the case with Violence, who had a large portion of his human brain left, he still had some vague understanding of who he used to be, and because of that he acted far more human than most devils do. We don't know to what extent it is possible for a fiend to recover their host's memories, but at the very least there is some vague understanding of them, as we see with Aki, who was functionally dead, yet within the mind of the gun fiend, Aki's memories still continued to play on. This isn't the same as a devil regaining their memories, but I felt like it should be brought up just so that I make certain that I have covered all of my bases. Now let's get into how this might affect specific characters. Power is certainly the most obvious one for this to affect, as the entire point of Denji's quest IA-10 Part 2 is set up for helping her regain the memories she will have no doubt lost. If the idea about her blood turns out to be true, I could see two paths the story could take from there, one being that she slowly but surely returns to the power we all know and love, but on a far more interesting and potentially more tragic note, would be to have the new Blood Devil already having established themselves as an individual, independent from power. As Denji continues to inject the memories of power into them, we could see a tragic twist as this new Blood Devil is slowly consumed by the consciousness of power which is being born within it. Or you could end up with a split personality, with the new Blood Devil and power constantly fighting for dominance over the body that they now share. Either way, I could see it being a mess which continues on throughout the entire second arc of the series. The amount of conflict, heartbreak, guilt, and other issues this could help flare up within not only Denji but power and even this potential new Blood Devil, it makes me excited to see how it will all come together. If it turns out that Power's blood doesn't act as a means to transfer the memories across to her, then we could see something even more tragic take place. I'm sure I've brought it up before, but the idea that Denji's entire quest is pointless really does strike a chord not only within me but within the whole story. There's a lot of what Denji has done is in a sense pointless, even the actions which did have a major effect seem small when you compare them to the actions of those around him. So really driving home that hopelessness and worthlessness which has been a part of Denji's character since the beginning would fit nicely too. Moving on, we have of course, the most influential character in the series, namely Makima. We know he perished in the final parts of the previous arc, but if it's possible for her memories to return, even in a slight sense, perhaps because of Denji's still lingering affections or because of the contract she had with the Prime Minister, either way having her reflection appear within Nayuta would certainly help to trigger Denji's trauma buttons, especially if Nayuta starts to show sign of becoming more and more like Makima despite Denji's best attempts to change her nature. If anything, I could see Makima having plans for her return in the unlikely case she was to perish. She just seems like the type to have backup plans after backup plans after backup plans, so having her return, if only in some small way, would help to keep the memory of Makima in Denji in the reader's mind, and a clear example of the threat Nayuta presents if not raised right. The idea that we might get to see Nayuta slowly turning into Makima as more and more memories seem to seep into her head, causing a conflict of the her of now and the her of the past, very intriguing stuff. And finally, I want to talk about Aki, or more specifically about the gun fiend which may or may not still be around after his battle with Denji. If such a being still was around, there is of course the potential for it to unlock more of Aki's memories, although I doubt that would result in anything but more heartache for Denji in the long run, because I don't think that anything good would come from it. Perhaps those memories would only serve as ammo for the gun fiend to fire at Denji, breaking him down even worse than when he first had to kill Aki. That is the sort of messed up thing I expect to occur within this series, to crush the good memories of someone and have them turned into something horrible and cruel. Really does feel like something we can expect from Fujimoto. But that's all I wanted to say. You let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear how you feel about devils regaining memories of their previous incarnation and how it might be done, as well as the implications of such a thing. I've been the Anonymous Weeb and I wish you a good day or night wherever you may be.